this is part of a whole series of programmes and across the public sector work that both the government, the Mayor and of course the Met need to be involved in, together with people in the public, people in community groups that are helping us with this sort of project. It's just one project. We're out there arresting people, we're out there finding the young people who are most vulnerable, we're out there trying to protect people as best we possibly can. If somebody comes into the custody suite and there is a sign that they might want to make a change in their lives, it's absolutely brilliant that we've got a project which works, which we started in the Met, which takes young people away into training, employment and a much better life.
Surely you'd want this money to be spent on bobbies on the beat though, wouldn't you?
I certainly believe that we need some more resources to be really effective in our fight against violent crime. It's my number one priority. I'm talking to the Home Secretary about what we're doing, how we're doing it and how we would benefit from more resources. I really hope we can have that, of course, and more officers on the street to keep the public in Lambeth and other places safe. But it's got to be part of a whole series of approaches. An early intervention and stopping people who have offended from offending again is very important. And that is not primarily for us, the police, to do.
Step up.
I think that genuinely people have taken out of context what I was trying to say. In a long-ranging interview, I said that in relation to technology, in a highly complicated system where we need to get ahead of the criminals and be able to develop technology really fast, it would be really helpful if the Home Office were able to lead that more than they have done in the past. That's all I was saying. I'm working really closely with the Home Office and the Home Secretary and of course the Mayor on serious violence. I think the public want us to be focused on violence. There is no disagreement between us about that at all. We're working very, very well together.
But surely you do want more money. You've spoken before about the cuts to the police force.
Sure, that lots of things have contributed to the situation we find ourselves in London. Nobody wants to see young people being killed. Everybody would like to stop that. I think the police have a good role to play. I think we know what we're doing. We are doing some fantastic work out on the streets every day, arresting the most violent people and protecting children. We need help with that, and I would say we need some more resources. I understand these are political decisions and have to be taken in the context of everything else that's going on.
And can you honestly say to the mothers of these 5 children, 5 young people that have been killed in the last week, that enough has been done? What do you say to those mothers?
I think it's absolutely ghastly that young people are losing their lives in that way. It makes me really sad. It makes me very angry. We are working as hard as we possibly can to stop this. We're also working extremely hard to investigate all the serious offences that happen. You'll be aware that probably hardly any, if at all, comfort to the people who lose people, but very importantly, the Met arrests people for murder and charges people for murder. 90% of cases of murder, we bring people to justice, and we are absolutely determined to bring people to justice for these ghastly crimes in the last week.
And ask you, is this too little, too late, and what's it going to do to stop knife crime?
There's a lot that needs to be done to tackle serious violence, especially knife crime. And as well as the immediate action we need to take, so for example with the new law that's going through Parliament on offensive weapons, we also need to tackle the root causes of serious violence. And what this fund is about today, the Early Intervention Youth Fund, £18 million, 29 projects across the country, is to help those social enterprises, charities and others that are working with young people to stop them from getting into a life of crime in the first place.
But the President Javid said that the Home Office needs to show greater leadership when it comes to fighting crime. What do you say in response to that?
I think there needs to be more leadership all around in this. I mean, this is a huge issue, huge challenge we're facing. Young people losing their lives. These aren't statistics. They're real people that your parents and others will be absolutely devastated, and they're looking for leadership in this issue, absolutely from government, but also from police, from mayors and others, and that's what they're certainly going to get from the government.
And this action point today, that there needs to be more police on the streets, the cuts in funding is behind the rising crime?
Actually, when you listen to the police, which is exactly what should happen, is that they will talk about resourcing. Of course they do. They talk about policing numbers. Of course they do. But they also talk about having the right powers, using some of the powers that are there, making them feel more confident. For example, using stop and search powers. So there's a whole host of things that need to be we need to make sure are being used, and much of that is happening because of the serious violence strategy that the government already has set in place. But I always want to know what more we can do, and today's announcement is part of that, about tackling some of the root causes that are leading some of our young people into a life of crime.
And what do you say to the mothers of those 5 young people this week who have lost their lives to knife crime? Are you doing enough? Can you honestly say that you are doing enough?
I would say to those mothers, I mean, absolutely they would be devastate their friends and their family, and you can be lost for words to what you say to someone in that situation. But I think what they would want to know is that we are doing everything we can to make our streets safer, and that includes me, of course, as Home Secretary, but also working with others, with our police and mayors and the police and crime commissioners. We all need to step up and do more, because this kind of violence on our streets is absolutely unacceptable.
And just one Brexit question, more resignations, and will you get something through Parliament? Do you think a deal that can be signed off with the whole of Parliament?
I'm very confident with the approach that the Prime Minister has.